Last question, does body count matter?
No.
No.
Depends on the person.
No.
No.
I don't know how to answer this, to be honest.
Okay. Do you object to men, and we'll start with you, go around, do you object to men caring about body count? Starting with you, Sophia, go ahead.
No, I feel like people can care about whatever they want to care about. You're entitled to your own opinion.
But you just said body count shouldn't matter.
I mean, for me, it doesn't. But I can't speak for another person.
Well, do you think it's insecure for men to care about body count? Or immature or something?
No. I think men can care about whatever they like. I don't know.
Aaron?
I'm just very open-minded.
Okay.
No, as long as they hold themselves to the same standard, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If they want a partner with a low body count, I think they should practice what they preach, and they should not have a low body count. They should have a low body count themselves.
I disagree with you, but I'll get back to that.
I agree with what they were saying. Just like, if you are gonna have like a problem with it, then like obviously yours should be low as well, because double standard. But
Okay.
yeah, everyone can do whatever the hell they want.
Same.
Yeah. I agree with Aaron.
Well, if you can put it into your own words, what you said, same. What?
Yeah, no, I think, what is it? Everybody's entitled to whatever standards they want and that they like. I do think that if you're somehow placing like an uneven standard and just believing that you should be able to be promiscuous while the other person has to be basically celibate, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're putting like an uneven burden by the start of the relationship, so it's going to be a bad foundation. You should just try to be consistent with, your beliefs on body count.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I just think it's unrealistic to expect someone to have a low body count or expect them or want them to have a low body count if you have a high body count or whatever your body count is. I think it's immature to think that way because it's just a double standard.
I have a response to this, but I'm letting all the girls answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a little immature. I don't think it matters as much as it does, to be fair, and it's just an awkward kind of thing to talk about.
Molly?
I can't really say anything. They kind of have to have a high body count for me to feel comfortable.
Okay.
That's it.
Madison?
I don't object.
Okay.
I get it.
Before I give do I give my rebuttal first? Well, first I'm just going to ask, so some of you said, body count doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. What's your body count starting with Madison over here?
8. I have over 100 bodies.
It's less than 100, but
More than
50. Less than 100.
Do you have a...
I do have a list.
You got a list?
Yeah, of course I have a list.
Okay, so is it like just name? Is it like penis size? Is it like, what's the details?
I should add honestly details, to be honest.
Is it on your phone?
It is on my phone.
Can you get your phone right
you want
now?
me to scroll?
Yeah,
Jeez.
Get
And
your
so
phone.
some of the names are like, I don't remember his name.
What about you?
5.
I respectfully decline.
I thought body count doesn't matter. Okay.
I have no idea, but I know it's less than 50.
Okay.
I don't count.
Is it more than 40, you think?
More than 40?
Somewhere
No.
between 40 and 50?
No.
Somewhere between 30 and 50?
30 maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Not answering.
I already told you guys earlier.
You
8.
did?
Yeah.
8?
Multiply it by 3 and that's
Oh my
the
God, I was waiting for that.
That's for everybody, by the way.
Okay, I have
Wait, do any of you else have a list, by the way?
No.
What's
On your
your
phone?
body count, Brian?
Hold on. Do any of you?
I actually have a list in my notes. I keep
In
it in my
your-
notes
in
and
your
I
phone?
lock
List,
it.
but I don't.
What do you mean you lock it?
It's a locked
Like a locked
notes.
note.
Like nobody can see it unless you you put in your
But is it
password.
just like name?
Oh,
name,
mine's just names, but it's in
and
order.
detail? Do you want to?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Tina, well, do us the honors.
Scroll.
It's not that bad. Okay, where
Wait, no, just read. Read.
Oh, read.
Read
Oh,
the
my
list.
name? No.
Yes.
There's like 50 names on there.
No, and it's private.
And that's airing someone out.
don't.
No, just
don't
first
hear somebody
names.
out.
No.
What's the first name?
50 names.
No,
in
because
a
if someone
row.
who that she knows views it, they could be in her friend circle and they could
Yeah.
know.
That's
true.
Don't.
Tina.
You don't have to.
No.
I
Here,
don't.
we'll leave it up to her.
Yeah.
Tina, do
Maybe
you want
know
to do
what?
it?
I'll name a few of them.
Or
Just the funny ones, because there's one that's like Scorpio. There's one that's Scorpio's friend.
oh wait, question.
Forget his name.
Wait. Before you continue, are there any like just nickname unnamed in there?
Well, yeah, forget his name.
Okay. So you said,
That's one.
go ahead, continue. Scorpio and Scorpio's friend?
Yeah.
The friend groups that you, okay.
And then there's one that has chlamydia in brackets.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like you caught.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good to keep track of your body count because then you can kind of figure out kind of where the chlamydia
Interesting
came from.
how that works out.
German guy in Dubai. Cool.
German guy in Dubai.
Quincy and another guy, I think.
Keep going.
Footballer guy in Greece. 2 footballers in France.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny ones.
Somebody gave you, a guy gave you chlamydia?
Yeah, I have
That's
twice.
fucking
It
disgusting.
happens.
Sorry, I was
Have you
waiting
never
to use
had
that
an
for-
STI? I think it's normal. It's
I've had chlamydia. You're not
Good
alone.
times.
yeah, it's easy
And it was from my boyfriend, so it wasn't a random hookup. So
Wait, how did he get it then?
cheated on me.
Oh no.
Did you break up with him?
Yeah.
Afuera!
Out you go. Okay, sorry. Argentina, what's up? Keep going. Was there more?
There wasn't any other interesting.
Oh, that's it? Okay,
ones.
cool.
Yeah, like they just had their names, but
So our last topic really, just a couple of you said, well, if you're a guy who has a high body count, you have no business dating or wanting to date a woman who has a low body count.
Yep. You can want whatever you want, but it's just not practical.
It makes
If
you a
you're
massive
gonna reach
immature.
that, yeah.
It makes you a what?
a massive hypocrite, in my opinion.
I don't think so, actually.
Why?
I don't think
Why?
it makes you a hypocrite. Well, here's why. In order to desire a trait in a partner, need you also possess said trait?
Not necessarily, but when it's within your control, not
No,
Checkmate.
It's not,
I
because
win.
I actually think through my arguments. If it's something that's within your control, like the body count, then no, I don't
Yeah.
think that that's something that you can just say, oh, well, we can have differences in the traits that we like. No, come on, that's something within your purview.
Well, it's not just only
Whoa.
in wait. It's not only in your purview, but it's also the arguments or the reason why people usually say they want a low body count is a moralistic reason. Oh, I don't want a hoe who sleeps around, et cetera, et cetera. But then you are acting like a hoe sleeping around. So it's your
Another-
Well,
inconsistent
let's- sure.
behavior.
Yeah, and another example of somebody who wants all of the benefits but none of the responsibility. So you want somebody who has a low body count, but you don't want to have to actually practice that yourself. And most women with low body counts are not going to be attracted to men with high body counts anyway.
Not necessarily, but I can tackle this from a couple different levels. Let me preface this by saying I don't think promiscuity is good in men either. However, I don't think that it is hypocritical if you're a guy, and typically it's men who have a preference for women with low body count, I would say, but I don't think it's hypocritical if you have a 10, 20, 30, 40 body count as a guy to desire a woman with a low body count, because that's just an attraction trigger in men. For
Is that how you rationalize you having like a higher body count than like someone
No, but
partner?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's perfectly. First off, it's an acceptable preference, and I don't think it makes you a hypocrite.
So
You could say that, but I think if you asked most people and you're asking me, I think it certainly does. Because it's not like something like I'm short, but I want a tall guy. Oh, that's hypocritical of you.
So if
because you
a-
can't control your height,
What
right?
about, like-
but if it's body count, yeah, that is
Well,
within your
So
control.
say if a girl
There-
had a really high body count and she doesn't want a man with a high body count, is that the same thing? Or is it
What do you
different
mean?
because she's a woman? I'm
Is she
basically
hypocritical
flipping
or-
Well, I would
Yeah, flip it.
argue. I would argue that there is a bit of a differential between men and women there, and I
Why?
think,
Why?
So why?
I would say most women, generally speaking, tend to care less about a man's body count than.
I
But we're
get it.
talking
woman
about a
did.
woman who does care, even though she has a high body count
if,
herself.
if a woman has previously slept with 100 men and she wants to date a virgin, that's 100% her prerogative. I don't have an issue with it, and I don't think it makes her a hypocrite. Now, do I think most women who have slept with 100 men, would they prefer to date a man who's a virgin? I don't think so.
I personally would not want to be lectured about my body count by somebody who themselves has a high body count. If they were telling me, Erin, how dare you have slept with like this many number of people, and I'm like, you have a body count of 50. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, yeah, I would not want to hear it.
Yeah, your argument is basically.
Well, I
it's
haven't
just-
fully made my argument yet, but go ahead.
My understanding is like, oh no, the argument is like, oh no, that's just what they're attracted to. But at least from what I've noticed, whenever guys talk about body count in general, there is a moralistic reason attached.
Sure.
So it's not just a simple, oh, I'm just attracted to this, that's how it be. It's no, I think that type of behavior is bad, but when I do it, that type of behavior is suddenly okay, which I don't think is consistent morally.
Well, I mean, okay, so to further expand on my point of, in order to desire a trait in a partner, need you also possess said trait? I think we can all, I think we could all agree the answer to that is no. You need not possess a
then
trait
again,
in
you
order
would
to
find-
desire, for example, and I
there's
know
a
you went
diff-
to the tall thing, and that's something that I've said before. However, there's much better examples. For example, a woman who wants, I often hear women say they like men who can make them laugh, who are funny. Need a woman be funny herself to desire that in a partner? And does it make her hypocritical if she's not funny to find funny men attractive? I don't think so. I don't think she's hypocritical if she wants a guy who's funny, but she is not funny herself.
I feel like that's one of those things that I guess you could argue it's within your control to be funny or not, but humor is one of those things that kind of like comes to you or it doesn't. I don't think you can really teach humor, so it's another one of those things that it may
Sure.
as well be an innate
How
characteristic.
about this? And I can give a ton of other examples here. A woman who who's attracted to high status men, but she's not high status herself. I'm sure you could agree that a lot of women would absolutely love to be in a relationship with a professional athlete, a musician, an actor. A lot of women have celebrity crushes, for example. I'm sure they would, do quite a bit to actually secure these men as partners. Whether they can or not, that's a different question. Are they hypocritical for desiring to date an exceptionally attractive or high status man, despite their lack of status? Does it make them hypocrites?
The problem is none of these are moralistic reasons. So if a person was like, hey, I want to date
but I'm not arguing at it on that level. I'm simply arguing, in order to desire a trait in a person, need you possess that trait? And I think the answer is no.
No, but the problem is that most people or most men who want a low body count are not saying it simply on the basis of, oh, I just happen to be attracted. They always assign it with a moralistic reason. That girl's a hoe, promiscuous, and that's bad for society.
But I'm not, that's to me, that's totally irrelevant. To me, that's totally irrelevant.
But
it's not totally irrelevant.
No, because if we're looking at,
hand.
if we're looking at the traits that people,
then why does it matter?
What do you mean?
Then why does body count matter?
What?
Because you're saying like
There's
I don't
a whole
think
bunch
it's
of
moralistic,
reasons.
but why does it matter?
Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons
Then what's
why it
one?
might matter.
What's one?
Pair bonding.
Okay, well, I mean, there's studies that have come out that, for example, the more premarital sexual power.
I don't think anyone is basing that preference off a study.
Okay.
Brian, don't be delusional. Come on.
Hold on. There's studies that show that there's a greater likelihood of infidelity. There's a greater likelihood of reporting relationship dissatisfaction. There's a greater likelihood of a breakup of a relationship or of a marriage the more premarital sexual partners you've had. There's also an evolutionary psychology, biological reason when it comes to paternity uncertainty. A woman who's more, and this is almost something that's innate in men. A woman who's promiscuous, if she's sleeps with a lot of men, there's a chance, for example, that she might, the kid might not be yours, for example.
Cuckoldry. True cuckoldry. Is
What do you
when
mean?
you might accidentally raise another man's child.
Right. And so any woman who gives birth to someone, you know for a fact that is your biological child, but as a man, you can't 100% be certain.
It's 2024, Brian. You can take
That doesn't
paternity tests.
undo, yes, you can do DNA tests, which came out in the 80s. That doesn't undo hundreds of thousands of years of evolution that have made men more invested in ensuring paternity.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that
also,
we-
like,
There's an
high-
evo-psych reason for that.
yeah, and you could argue that there's
Which is why
ego-psych-
men care more about body count, they care more about promiscuity, and they care much more about virginity, for example.
There are strong evo-psych reasons for women to also want men with low body count, so there'd be less STDs,
For
less chances.
parental, what's it called? For parental
resources, maybe.
For parental investment.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
yes, I agree, but I'm not in favor like of there's certain guys in the
in the space.
that advocate that you should just try to run through a bunch of girls. I don't advocate for that.
Yeah, but the problem is
You should
if
space
somebody
it out.
has this
What's that?
You should space it out.
No.
The problem is if you have
Rack
the
it up slowly.
mentality of like, oh, you know, I value these things for like all these different reasons. That's why I want to find a woman with low body count. Chances are she's also going to have those same values, right? For her own reasons, for wanting to have like parental security, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have that high body count and you're still looking for a woman with like low body count, chances are she's not going to be attracted to you. So
But
you're
why is it
cornering
only
yourself
wrong?
in.
Why is it seems it's like the case that it's only wrong if a man wants a trait that he doesn't possess, but when women want a guy who's funny but she's not funny,
It's
hold
within
on, let me
his
just finish.
purview.
Hold on, let me just finish.
He doesn't have to stick
No,
his dick
but
in
there-
everything that he wants
Hold on. But a woman wants a woman wants a guy who's funny, she's not funny. A woman wants a guy who's rich, but she's broke. A woman wants a guy who's a professional athlete, she's not a professional athlete. A woman wants a guy who's high status, she has no status. A woman wants a guy who's confident, she's not confident. A woman wants a guy who's charismatic, she's not charismatic. A woman wants a guy who's chivalrous, she's not chivalrous.
Some of
I mean,
this
we
some are
can-
describing
wait.
yin and yang. Others you're describing examples of, to me, pure hypocrisy.
Wait, no, but for me,
Yeah.
it's
No,
the
these
moralistic
the-
purview that's
you're
attached.
trying to like snake your way out of like
You
No,
can
no,
these are
possibly
clear.
fathom that someone might disagree with you on this one. Actually, talk to the majority of women. Yeah, the majority of women are not going to put up being lectured by a guy with a high body count about their body count any day
No,
of the
but
week.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If a woman doesn't want to be with a guy with a high body count, I don't object to that at all. I'm not arguing that like women shouldn't care about that. If you care about that, that's 100% your prerogative. But my issue is when you say and you shame men, oh, if you're a guy and you've had a high body count, and again, I'm not an advocate of men racking up high body counts, but if a guy does have more sexual experience, that should preclude him from having an interest in women with low body count. I object to that.
No, it's a
because
moralistic purview that's
because
attached
women
to it.
all the time desire traits in men that they do not possess themselves.
It's a moralistic
so
purview
different.
attached to it. If a woman was like, hey,
So what?
let me
what
finish
if
my
there's
argument.
But so
no,
what?
it does
no,
matter.
Pixie.
It matters.
Pixie, so what if there is a moralistic
I'll explain
component
why
to it?
so what.
It's totally irrelevant.
It's not.
It's totally irrelevant.
Let me explain
I just
why.
outright dismiss your position.
Because you're not letting me finish the argument.
Hitchens razor.
Okay.
That's not
if
Hitchens
a woman,
razor. That's
if,
not
if
Hitchens
a
razor.
woman
That's not
was saying, hey, I want a guy who is like, you know, calm, and I think because like that's what a good person is. A good person is a calm person, you know?
Yeah.
And then she's out there, you know, throwing temper tantrums, freaking out. Well, then that would make her a giant hypocrite because she is not upholding herself to the moral standard that she wants her partner to have. So yes, it does matter when somebody is trying to uphold the moral standard that they cannot themselves concede to.
What about a woman who's feminine and wants a masculine man?
Is that a moral standard? No.
Is being calm a moral standard?
Well, if the woman is arguing, I want somebody calm,
Or is that
because
a
that's moral-
behavioral?
If the person is attaching moral purview to being calm, then yeah, they should
Wait,
be
so
calm
is-
themselves. If they're saying it is of upright moral importance that my partner is a calm person, because a calm person is a good person.
I do think it's. How do I? I don't think it necessarily makes her a hypocrite.
Really, if you
I think it would be more conducive, perhaps, to a better relationship if they're
Yeah.
both calm individuals. I don't think in any scenario being like a chaotic, bitchy person or being a guy who's a like toxic asshole, I don't think that's conducive to a healthy relationship.
Yeah, the point
But-
I'm trying to get across is that if a person is saying, I want my partner to have X quality because X quality makes them a good person, and then they don't have that quality in themselves, they're being hypocritical morally.
Yeah. Most of the things that you're describing tend to be proxies for other things. So you're like a woman who herself is not a professional athlete wants to be with a man who's a professional athlete.
That makes her a hypocrite, according
Well,
to
no,
your.
because there's
if
no
we-
moral
I'm trying to explain to you, Brian, why
if
it
we use
doesn't.
your logic, yes,
No.
it would make
No,
her a
I
hypocrite.
literally started this off by saying I believe it's a proxy for something else. So what she doesn't really want is that if a professional athlete didn't make much money in the society, guess what? She wouldn't want that she wouldn't be invested in dating somebody who has that profession. So it's almost like they have no attachment to the profession, and what they really want is wealth. So she would probably date anybody who is wealthy. And at that point, if she's not wealthy herself or is not even trying to become wealthy, I'd say, yeah, you're a hypocrite. Also, it's a long shot if you think you're going to marry outside of your economic class. It's
there's
statistically
plenty
very,
of other
very
reasons
unlikely.
why a woman might want to date a professional athlete, for
Yeah,
example.
the love of football. Yeah.
No,
basketball. That's what it is.
Well, I would actually argue typically professional athletes are demonstrating some sort of physicality. They probably have, not all of them, some,
So do models.
NFL linemen,
So do
might not.
models.
Well, I was going to say physique, for example. What do you mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're like, well, they demonstrate some sort of physicality, and I'm saying like, so do models and bodybuilders. And at that point, what you're not even talking about as a professional athlete, you just want somebody who's like physically attractive. Yeah,
right.
of course.
But I don't think it makes
My
you a
argument
hypocrite.
boils down to this: don't throw stones in glass houses.
what's a
And I think
hypocrite
somebody who obviously puts a lot of stake in a body count and judges other women for having high body counts, but they themselves have a high body count, is throwing a stone in a glass house.
No, it doesn't. It does not make you hypocritical.
Agree to disagree.
It does not
Agree
make
to
you
disagree.
hypocritical.
If that's not hypocritical, then
desire,
what's hypocritical to you?
Huh?
I said if that's not hypocritical, then what is?
What's the definition of
hypocrisy.
Yeah. How would you define hypocrisy?
It's defined by Jesus Christ, who literally
No,
said that
no.
a hypocrite is
Okay,
somebody
okay.
who examines the crime of another man but refuses to look at their own.
We're talking about something different here. If you were to come out and say that, if you were to say it's bad to be promiscuous, but you yourself are promiscuous, that's hypocritical. However, just having accrued a high body count, let's say you've accrued a high body count, it doesn't make you hypocritical to desire and to want to date somebody who has a low body count. That doesn't make you hypocritical. If your standard is that you're like, for example, perhaps you're shaming women who have a high body count, yet you have a high body count, that might be hypocritical.
we were
But
talking
wanting a
about, was it not?
partner, like making a dating related decision about who you want to partner up with, does not make you hypocritical.
Yeah.
Okay, if you said but we were
So
talking
perhaps we've been
about-
arguing
it's just
the different thing here.
Yeah, I think the problem is that in most cases of men describing low body count, when you ask them why, it's usually not just saying, "Oh,
to
I'm
degrade
just
the woman."
Yeah,
It's not neutral.
most of the time it's because she's a hoe and that's disgusting. It's not just like, "Oh, that's what I happen to be attracted to." So I think that's why we're speaking past each other.
Good time.
Because a preference is saying like, I prefer blondes, but I would date anybody, versus what you're saying, which is I won't date blondes. I have to date this other dyed-haired person, like black. I only date people with black hair. There's a difference. between those two
So do you
things.
think, let's say a guy who's got a body count of 10, would you think it's hypocritical of him to want to date a woman who's a virgin who has a body count of 1, 2, or 3?
Yep.
A guy who has a body, you think so?
No.
If he again, it goes back to
I
So,
think if
so
you're getting
hold on,
into-
no, hold on. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Pixie. Okay. So what is the,
It's a relative concept. What constitutes an objectively high body count doesn't exist, because it's always just going to be relative to whatever the median body count is
or
at
minus,
any time. And
plus
I think
or
double
minus,
digits are
what is
what?
the body count range that you think
I
someone has
don't know,
to date
Brian. You're the
within?
one who does this
No, but-
fucking bullshit math. I don't
No,
do
no,
it because I don't care about body count, so I don't
But
have to
it's
worry about it.
no, but you're saying that a guy who has a body count of 10, it would be hypocritical of him to want to date a woman with a body count of 3.
You said
So-
virgin. You started off with virgin.
No, but
and
yes,
then you
I
said,
said
then
virgin,
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Okay.
Okay.
When it was
so
virgin,
is it hypocritical?
I said hypocritical.
Do you
to
think
the
it's
virgin.
hypocritical for a guy who has a body count of 10 to prefer to date a woman who has a body count of 3?
Yes, because why? It can.
Why
I think
would
it can be because
why would that be hypocritical?
What significance is he attaching to the body count that he is actively seeking out women who have a body count of 3 or less?
We've already gone over this.
What is the significance?
I already told you why body count
It's
matters.
obviously
Do you
a
want me to
moral
repeat it?
significance. No, it's obviously a moral significance.
It
is
could
what
be
I'm saying.
it could be a totally self-serving. Let's say his only thing
totally
is
self-serving and hypocritical. That's my argument.
what?
Totally self-serving and hypocritical.
I don't really follow the
reasons.
logic there, but so you're suggesting that
I'm
what
not
people
suggesting, telling
what
you.
what people ought to do, you can only pair up with somebody who has the exact same body count as you. Is that what you're? I think if you take it to the logical conclusion,
Not the same.
You have to pair up with somebody who has the exact same.
Not the same. Not the exact same.
Really?
The same range. And that all of these ranges are going to be completely fucking arbitrary. Because can you tell me what an objectively high body count is?
I think once you start, well, it depends.
Oh,
It
well, it
depends on
depends
age.
because
It
it's
depends on
subjective.
age.
It's not an
No,
objective
it depends on
question.
age.
Okay.
It depends on age because
The older
clear,
you
like
are, the more-
a woman who's like 18 is gonna
Okay, so an
probably have a
18-year-old
lower
guy with a
count.
body count of 10 who wants an 18-year-old girl with a body count of 3, what's his reason?
I don't object to that at all.
Okay,
Well,
what's his
the
reason?
What's his reason?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of reasons.
Okay,
There's
name one of them.
There's pair bonding. There's just the
At
ingrained.
at 18, he's fucked 10 people, and he's expecting a woman who's the
Yes.
same age as him to have not slept
Yes,
with
absolutely. An 18-year-old could be pursuing be desirous of a long-term relationship.
Okay.
There's the STD risk, for example. The more sexual partners you've had, the greater likelihood of having an STD.
That goes for him too.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, times
Sure.
however many more because he has a higher body count.
Right, but let's assume he doesn't have an STD and he wants to mitigate his risk by selecting a partner.
Then
who,
why can't we
who has-
assume that a woman with a high body count doesn't have STIs?
Wait, what?
Because you're making it sound like you said it sounds like all of these only apply to women because you were like, we know that a woman with a higher body count has a higher likelihood of having an STI. But when you're talking
Yes,
about a
that
man with
applies-
a,
that
when
would
you're
apply
talking
to
about when you're
men
talking
too. Yes,
about
that
when
would
you're
apply to
talking
men
about a
too.
man with a high body
And
count,
if a woman, yes,
you're
and if
saying
a woman,
this guy also doesn't have that.
If a woman doesn't want to date a guy because she's who has a high body count because she wants to mitigate her STD risk, that's totally fine.
Would you say she's delusional?
What?
But would you say she's delusional
For what?
For wanting that.
for wanting that?
No,
Like,
I've already stated.
If Tina said, "I want a guy who has a low body count," would you think that she was not hypocritical but delusional?
Would I think she's delusional? Well, again, there are some gender differences here. So, for example,
I'm saying they're
no,
arbitrary
but for
bullshit.
example, a guy, if you have a high body count, I do think it is again the case that women give men a little bit more leeway on that front than the reverse.
Yeah, but it's totally socially constructed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also about your
If she
argument.
But do
can-
you think that
if
she's
she-
delusional? You didn't answer the question. Answer the question.
Is she
Would she be
delusional?
delusional for her saying,
No, actually,
yeah,
I'm sure she could actually. No, because I actually think it's interesting. I think a man who actually might have a low body count, it could indicate that, for example, he struggles in the dating realm. So it may very well be the case that he's more willing.
we're at the point where we're pontificating upon what the low body count in a man signifies and what it could be a proxy
He might-
for or whatever. But when it comes to women, it's like, oh yeah, for sure, high body count definitely risk with promiscuity and higher STI risk. Like, you know for sure, like what it could be associated with.
I don't object to women holding the exact same standards.
Neither do I.
What are we? I don't know.
About your
You
argument,
started
though.
this.